Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got an exciting topic for all of you, the Kennedy half dollar. These coins, originally released in 1964 to honor the legacy of President John F. Kennedy, have been a staple of American coinage for decades. But did you know that certain Kennedy half dollar coins, depending on their mint mark and condition, can be worth thousands of dollars today? We're going to explore the top 3 most valuable Kennedy half dollar coins, highlighting their different mint marks, the condition that makes them rare, and how much these rare beauties can fetch in today's auction market. Let's get started. First up, the 1978 Kennedy half dollar, particularly the one without a mint mark. If you've ever wondered about the true value of this coin in fine condition and how it holds up in today's auction market, then you're in for a treat. Let's get started. First, let's take a moment to appreciate the Kennedy half dollar series as a whole. Introduced in 1964 in honor of President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination, this coin has been a staple in American numismatics. However, the 1978 version stands out for several reasons, particularly if you come across one without a mint mark. Now, before we talk about its value, let's quickly touch on the importance of the mint mark. Mint marks are small letters stamped on the coin indicating where it was struck. For most years, the Kennedy half dollar was minted at either the Philadelphia Mint, which has no mint mark, or the Denver and San Francisco Mints, which carry the D and S mint marks respectively. But when we talk about the 1978 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark, we're specifically referring to coins minted in Philadelphia. While a lot of Kennedy half dollars from this year were minted at the Denver and San Francisco Mints, a smaller number was struck in Philadelphia, and these coins were not marked with a mint mark. Now, you might think that a missing mint mark might not mean much, but in the world of coin collecting, it can be a game changer, especially when the coin is in fine condition. So, what does all this mean in terms of value? Let's take a look at the auction market. In fine condition, a 1978 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark is considered a rare find. While many of these coins are relatively common in circulated condition, when you find one that is in fine or better condition, meaning it has minimal wear, good details, and a sharp strike, it can fetch a pretty penny. In recent years, the price of a 1978 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark in fine condition has seen a significant increase at auction. Depending on the market, these coins have sold for anywhere from $2,500,000 in fine condition, with some even reaching higher prices for well-preserved examples or those with unique features, like a particularly sharp strike or an uncirculated grade. From a numismatic perspective, the 1978 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark is appealing to collectors because it represents both a historical artifact and a rare minting anomaly. Most collectors are looking for coins that tell a story, and this one definitely fits the bill. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the hobby, this coin is one to keep an eye on. Now, when it comes to selling these coins, the auction market is the place where things get exciting. The 1978 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark, especially in fine condition, has been making waves at both online and in-person auctions. The rarity factor, coupled with the overall demand for Kennedy half dollars, has seen a surge in value over the years. Let's look at some auction highlights. For example, a 1978 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark in fine condition was recently sold at an online auction for just over $2,600,000. But in some rare cases, coins in exceptional condition or with unique qualities can fetch prices upwards of $30,000 to $100,000 or more. So, if you have one of these coins, it could be a great time to check the value and consider getting it appraised or sold. Whether you're looking to buy or sell, the 1978 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark offers an interesting opportunity for collectors. Its value is only expected to increase as fewer of these coins remain in circulation and more people catch on to their rarity. So, if you're lucky enough to come across a 1978 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark in fine condition, take a moment to appreciate its rarity. The auction market today recognizes its value, and in the coming years, it might only continue to rise. Next up, the 1970 for Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark in extra fine condition. And let me tell you, it's getting big attention in today's auction markets. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, shortly after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts and Frank Gasparro. This coin was quickly approved by Congress and became one of the most iconic pieces of U.S. currency. In 1974, the Kennedy half-dollar was struck primarily in copper nickel clad, as silver content had been removed after 1970 for regular circulation coins. That year, the U.S. Mint struck these coins at two main locations, Denver and Philadelphia, which used no mint mark at all. So, if your 1970 for Kennedy half-dollar has no mint mark, it means it was minted in Philadelphia. But what makes it valuable, especially in extra fine or higher condition? First off, let's talk mintage numbers. Over 201 million. 1970 for Kennedy half-dollars was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, so at first glance, it doesn't sound rare at all, right? But here's the thing, most of those coins were used in circulation. They got beat up, worn down, scratched. Finding a 1974 Kennedy with no mint mark in extra fine condition, or better, is actually quite uncommon. In extra fine condition, the details on Kennedy's hair are sharp, the lettering is clear, and there's only light wear on the high points. Collectors are constantly hunting for pieces that strike that perfect balance, circulated, but barely. And to top it off, some specific varieties like the 1974 double die obverse have been found on Philadelphia coins too, pushing the value even higher in some cases. Let's talk money. What is a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark in extra fine condition selling for in today's auction markets? Condition. You might expect to get anywhere between $200,000. That's already well above face value. But in some online auctions, coins with really crisp detail, clean surfaces, and eye appeal have sold for $800,000 or even more when multiple bidders get involved. And if your coin has any doubling or a known variety, prices can skyrocket. Some rare examples have sold for hundreds of dollars, depending on grading and condition. Wondering how to tell if your Kennedy half-dollar is worth the big bucks? Here's what to check for. No mint mark. Look just under Kennedy's neck on the obverse front if there's no letter. It was minted in Philly. Double die. Use a magnifying glass to examine the words, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If you see shadowing or doubling, you might have a jackpot coin. If you're serious, consider submitting the coin to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for certification, especially with a variety can command a premium. So, next time you're digging through old pocket change or your coin jar, keep an eye out for the 1970 for Kennedy half-dollar with no mint mark. In extra fine condition, it might be more valuable than you think. We're diving deep into a coin that might be sitting in your collection right now or even in your pocket. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, specifically the one without a mint mark. Is it just another run-of-the-mill coin, or is it hiding some serious value? You might be surprised by how much it can go for in the auction market today, even if it's in bad condition. So, let's break it down. Let's start with some background. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964 to honor the late President John F. Kennedy, following his tragic assassination. The design features a portrait of Kennedy on the obverse, created by Gilroy Roberts, and the reverse shows the presidential seal. This coin quickly became iconic, especially with its connection to Kennedy's legacy. Now, let's fast forward to 1971. By this point, the United States had switched from using 90% silver in its half-dollars to a copper-nickel blend due to the rising cost of silver. So, the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, like many coins from this era, is composed of 40% silver, which gives it a little bit of intrinsic value, just not much. But that doesn't mean this coin is worthless, far from it. Here's where things get interesting. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was minted in large quantities, so it's not exactly rare in terms of its mintage. In fact, in 1971, over 100 million half-dollars were minted between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But here's the catch. Not all of those coins had mint marks. In 1971, the Philadelphia Mint stopped using mint marks on some of its coins. So if you have a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark, it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But does it matter? Well, yes and no. The fact that it's a coin from the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark is actually quite unique. But here's the kicker: the condition of the coin plays a massive role in its value. Let's talk about the condition. Most 1971 Kennedy half dollars you'll find are not in perfect condition. The vast majority are going to be circulated coins that show wear from years of handling, and unfortunately, wear dramatically decreases a coin's value. So, if you find one in poor shape, don't expect to get hundreds or thousands of dollars for it. Take a look at this example. It's definitely seen some action, worn edges, faded details, and a dull surface. In this condition, a 1971 Kennedy half dollar might only be worth its melt value, which is around $3 to $4, based on the silver content. But don't worry, there's still hope. If you have a 1971 Kennedy half dollar that's seen better days, don't count it out just yet. In conclusion, the 1971 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark isn't a coin you'll find on every corner, but its value lies in its scarcity and the way collectors view it. Even in bad condition, it can still pull in surprising numbers, especially at auction. So, if you find one of these coins in your collection or stumble upon one in your change, it might just be worth more than you think. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1971 Kennedy half dollar, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more coin-related content. And as always, leave a comment down below if you have any questions or if you've got your hands on a 1971 Kennedy half dollar yourself. Until next time, happy collecting.